What's up, everybody?
Go.
This is Dr. Steve, another one of our all-in hangouts that we do every Tuesday night. And we try to offer you guys a little bit of value, a little bit of training, some tips and tricks and nuggets. This is all content. It's all value. There's no sales pitch. There's nothing you can buy. It's just free information. And tonight, we're going to be talking for about 30 minutes simply just about how to promote your business or your product or your offer through a blog, through videos, and anything else we can think of in the next 30 minutes. And we're also going to talk about why those methods are better. You know, they're newer anyway, right? Nobody goes to the phone book anymore. So we're going to kind of talk about some of the benefits
What's a
of
phone book?
doing some online marketing. You know, it's funny, Cheryl. The phone book, when the phone book shows up at my house, it goes from the doorstep into the recycle bin. Like it never.
Exactly.
I don't even look at it. It
I
doesn't
don't
even
even take it out. I don't even take it out of the wrap.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing I do. I take it out of the bag and I separate. The plastic goes into the plastic recycling. The book goes into the paper recycling. And I'm done. That's
I don't
kind of the
even
bone.
do that one.
So, Cheryl, since we always like to go kind of ladies first, why don't you share with us, I guess, your thoughts on what makes. We'll talk about the how later, but let's start with just like the why, right? Let's talk about the why. Like, why would somebody use a blog or video or both to market themselves or their business or their product, whatever it is, instead of some more traditional marketing strategies?
Yeah, to me, I've had a website before, and I work with businesses who have their own website. And the website, we Google websites and we see their location, we see their contact information, we see, what their business is about. It's a fairly static web page. That's not something that changes. But when they have a link to a blog, and when they're offering some changing material, some changing content, maybe some updated content about what they have at their business, or for me, what's going on in my life, what inspiration I have, what sort of promotion I'm doing now, what sort of campaigns I'm doing now for my income streams. I find that's what a blog is most useful for. A blog is there to have that communication with your audience, to build rapport with your audience, and to put your personality, your stamp on who you are and what your business is about to your audience. It's a communication tool, a changing communication tool.
Simon, what do you think?
I think Cheryl summed up. By the way, can you do a sound check for me? Is my sound coming through good?
Hear you great.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So, and it's interesting that both Cheryl and I have offline clients. That's one of the things that it's just a natural progression of what we do. And let me ask you this: if you are, let's say, if you're in need of an orthodontic, what do you call the people that fix teeth? Orthodontists?
Yep.
Yeah, orthodontist, yeah, braces and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, a brace doctor. So, if you have kids, you're going to go and ask your friends, or who should I send little Johnny or little Mary to, right? And you don't pull out the other pages because they're in the trash already. So you go to look for people that already have a trust factor built in. So you might talk to your friends. You say, well, Steve, who did you use for your kids' braces? And say, well, Dr. Smith down the road. Okay, cool. And it may not be the closest doctor to you, maybe halfway across town. But because there's a personal recommendation there, then you're more inclined to go see Dr. Smith first versus the person around the corner. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
So really, when you do business with anyone, there's actually three categories that people look for. And before you do business with someone, you have to know them, you have to like them, and you have to trust them. So the trust factor, the bridge trust, if you will, is when your friend talks to you about Dr. Smith halfway across town, that do a great job on braces. That's the sort of trust that you build. Now, here's where blogs come in. A blog helps you become an anonymous, or transfer you from becoming an anonymous person on the internet to faceless website to someone that you know, like, and trust. And that makes it so much easier. So that's my 30-second spiel on my blogs.
What about you, Jorge? Do you have a different take, or you share those thoughts, or any other thoughts you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I'll probably add one or two things. Now, we're talking about social media, and specifically Facebook versus the blogs. Um, for one, I believe that having a blog gives you more authority if you have a business. It gives you at the end of the day, when you have a fan page at Facebook, all you do is put some things and people like you, and that's about it. And but you still have to drag. People have to go to your fan page. With a blog, you're not limited to that specific people, which basically is your friends and family, unless you start growing. With a blog, you get more exposure, a bigger, larger audience. So if you're in a business, what you want to do is precisely that: get a bigger potential customer, which is basically a bigger audience. So at the end of the day, Facebook is likes and likes and likes. The blogs, you have to go into it. And when you have people looking at your blog, you have a captive audience. It's going to be much more effective. The kinds of potential buyers, the leads, are going to be much more effective, more productive than people's friends and family putting like because they like you and you're their friends, and et cetera, et cetera. But they don't even read it. You don't even read what you're placing. But a blog is different because you're not limited to one specific social media, in this case Facebook, which is the most popular, but you're having a broad spectrum of what you have in terms of searches, Google searches, Yahoo's, and hundreds more that are out there that you don't receive that only with Facebook, to put it this way, because that's the one that most people refer to when we talk about social media.
Right. And not only that, but you can share your blog on Facebook, but you
yes.
won't necessarily share information about your Facebook stuff on your blog. I mean, you might, but
yes, that's true.
If you're just jumping onto this Hangout, guys, we're talking about the benefits of promoting and marketing your business through a blog versus traditional marketing strategies. And one of those traditional marketing strategies is a website, right? I think most days, most businesses will go out there and they'll get a website and they'll be like, well, okay, I'm done, right? There's my web presence. But a blog is a dynamic thing. A website is a very static thing. And Google loves dynamic stuff. It likes updated content. It loves seeing new stuff being produced every day, every week, versus a website that kind of, you go out there and people pay a web developer, hey, build me a website, right? And then, okay, my website's done, and then it just sort of sits there.
Let me stick a little pin there. You just said something I think very important. We're talking about blogs, which is basically part of the social media compared to the traditional media. When we talk about traditional media, especially for small business, we're talking about TV, radio, print, which, as we know, is very, very expensive when you have a little small business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take advantage, first of all, the big umbrella of the social media, okay, that's much interesting, it's a lot cost effective. And then if you dive in deeper, yeah, you got all these social media sites, but then when you go to the blog, which you can control, and you go back and forth with what you just said, Steve, it's much, much more productive for you as a business. That's my thought. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I like what you said there, Jorge, about controlling the content and in coupling with what you had said, Dr. Steve, about creating that content and creating that dynamic content that goes and goes into the different Google searches. You can control your website up to a point because, like you said, there's going to be a web developer who created the code, who put the pictures in there, and they may just hand it to you. In fact, I've actually heard this from the traditional businesses that I work with. They say, oh, I had somebody design a website for me. I have no idea how to change any of it.
Right.
It just sits there, and I have to call this guy and be at his mercy to change any of the information there. Like if they move location.
Here's another thing. Here's another point. Interesting point that I remembered. I work in marketing and traditional marketing, and one of the medias that we like the most, or that we find the advantage of print, newspapers and magazine, is because it has permanent length of time. You don't throw a magazine immediately after you read it. You keep it for a while, 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. People collect them 4 or 5 years. So your ad has a length of a life, a longer life, something like that. With TV, you put it out, and that's 30 seconds. Radio spots 10, 15 seconds. Now, what you want is to have this ad or this promoting your business for a long period of time. With a blog, you have that and you control that. So I, for example, have blogs that have been done 6 months ago and they're still ranked high in Google's. So what does that tell you? That even though it's not immediate, I mean, in terms of, it's not that immediately I put it and somebody saw it and gone away. No, it continues to be circling on the cyberspace, which is very interesting for you and could help you down the line. I mean, so a person didn't see it today, you could see it tomorrow, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months ahead of time, and you're still promoting your business.
Not only that, but talking about the traditional marketing strategies like you just mentioned, Jorge, like things like radio or TV or even print stuff, magazines and newspapers, you can't track that. You can't track how many people see it, how many people.
Well, you can track that, but it's very, very expensive.
Are going to your page because you can't track it. But when you have a website or a blog, especially a blog, you can, using Google Analytics to the T, you can see how many people have visited your website, how long they spent on your blog, what they read, what pages, how many pages did they go to. It's really just incredible. Simon, let me ask you something. Does the type of blog matter? Because there's lots of them out there, right? There's lots of blog platforms out there. There's free ones. There's paid ones. Does the type of blog matter?
I think it depends. And it depends how technically savvy you are. I mean, I think most people have heard of WordPress, and there are a bazillion things. I mean, I'm a technical geek. You all know that. I mean, I'm a genius, right, when it comes to software and stuff. So I can probably make anything work. But the thing is, you have to have something that anyone can use. Like, Cheryl, to your point, someone hands you a website as a business owner, you're going to have to learn all these different programming skills just to update the HTML, just to change the address.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give them a blog and say, look, all you do is you click here and you start typing. If you want to add an image, just drag it in here, or a YouTube video, embed it here. You want it so it's easy to do, because the last thing you really want to do is to spend hours every day blogging, right? I mean, when you write a blog, I mean, let's do a poll here. When you do a blog, what's like the average sort of time it takes you to do a blog? For me, if it's usually I can bang them out. There's 2 ways. So if you write a blog, right? So you actually do text and pictures. I can probably get that done in about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour tops. If I do a video and I just start to fire the camera up and start to record my thoughts, it's as long as I speak. What's that? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? So 3-minute short video, upload it to my blog. If it's a more wordy and pictures, it's maybe half an hour tops. How about anyone else?
About the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
About the same. So,
Yeah.
so you're referring to, Simon, like a blog that's more done for you, right? You don't have to build it or create it or host it. Like you said, you kind of just start typing, or you import a picture, or you import a video. So ease of use, right? Kind of like a done-for-you sort of platform.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And Cheryl, what do you think about like frequency? How often should someone be blogging? Like if they're going to effectively market and promote themselves, and they kind of want to start getting found, and they want to get ranked on Google so people can find their blog, how often is the right amount of time to be creating new content?
Daily is what a lot of people say, and I know for my traditional business clients, that's usually a little bit difficult unless they do have content prepared ahead of time, or they're promoting a series of pieces of information. There needs to be a periodicity, a frequency to your blogging, and that needs to be regular, and that needs to be something that you stick to, so that Google sees, hey, there's a new blog post, hey, there's new content on Wednesday, hey, there's new content on Friday. Some sort of frequency, be it every other day or daily, is preferred to be seen and to get that Google ranking up there for what you're trying to be ranked for.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about videos. I know a lot of you guys shoot videos. I'm as guilty of that as anybody. I think I'm shooting 1 or 2 videos a day now.
Don't feel guilty about that.
Well, here's the thing, guys, and you may or may not know this, guys. The guys that are watching this hangout, Google owns YouTube. Okay, they bought them several years ago. You may or may not know that,
Mhm.
but videos happen to rank better than articles do on Google. So
Yep.
let's face it, people by nature are kind of lazy, right? I think we'd all agree there. If they had to choose between reading an article like a how-to and watching a video how-to, they're going to go to the video more often than not. I would say 9 times out of 10. And if you notice, if you ever go search for something like how-to, Google search results are going to
Oh
be
yeah.
video, 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 video,
Videos are up
video,
top.
and then articles. So let's talk
Right.
a little bit about videos. Jorge, I know you don't do a bunch of videos yet. I know that's on your list of to-dos,
Yeah.
but tell me a little bit about what you have found to be effective. Like you watch a lot of videos, you've seen our videos, and you've been through a lot of video training module. What is your what's your take on the effectiveness of marketing through video?
Through videos. It gives the, let's put it this way, the author of the blog or with has a video a much closer communication to the reader or to the person that's reading the viewing the video. And why? Because there's a face behind. You see that face. It's much more interactive and then. I mean, yeah, everybody writes, and it's fine. A lot of people like to sit down and write and go back and forth, but when you go face to face with a person in videos, it's not more effective. For example, do you see when you go to YouTube, for example, I put it this way, do you put the video of the song, or sometimes you put the video of the song with the lyrics? So you know what, you put the video of the song and you go along with it. So you like to see, you're taking advantage of your eyes, one of your senses to do that, and you feel more attached, more personalized than a regular blog, which I'm not saying is bad, but it's also you have the advantage in a blog to do that. So if you have that advantage, that extra tool, why not use it as well? Maybe a product demonstration, or it's a lot more easier to show it on a video than to write it.
But that's a good point. Where I like how you brought this up, where you get to know the person more. It goes back to the point I made earlier about knowing, liking, and trusting someone. You get to see it a lot more because I forget what the numbers are. Is like 90% of communication is not about words. It's like visual and how people come across to you. You have a first impression, and plus they're easy to do, right? Just fire up a webcam and bam, into the video. Has anyone ever had anyone been shy of making a video? I know not now, but in the past.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I was.
Oh yeah, when I started out, oh my gosh, I was so afraid I would say something crazy,
Yeah.
or somebody would go, "Oh my gosh, she has such a weird accent," or some of my like head, I bob my head a lot, so I was really self-conscious about that.
One of the fears that I have, because being very honest, is you try to be perfectionist when you're shooting the video. And I know I've been told this many times, but still it's a fear, it's a barrier that I have. You should be yourself, and you're gonna mess up, I think that you see a person, a real person, not just a script that you're reading. Okay, let me show you this and blah 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 blah. Then I shoot a video. No, you're seeing a person, like we're talking face to face. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, I do think it's important to put a face behind, the person that's writing the blog or, that owns the YouTube channel. It gives people an opportunity to get to know you, which is definitely important. Because like you said, Simon, you almost feel like you know the person, right? You establish a little bit of a relationship, even though you haven't physically met. They get a chance to kind of know you and see who you are and what you're all about.
Right.
Cheryl, let me ask you this: when you're shooting a video, like what kind of content are you looking to include that you think people are going to want to watch? Like, for let's say you're marketing something, what kind of value or what kind of content do you want to put in a video? And typically, how long do you want your video to be? That's a two-parter.
Oh gosh, let me address that second part first, because this is like something that really gets me when I see videos. A video that you put on YouTube should be 2 to 3 minutes max. I think about my own attention span with watching a video, and I am if it's longer than that, if I look down at the bottom corner, I see, oh crap, that's 10 minutes long. I don't have time for that. I click on and move on. So let me get that out of the way right there. Now, the other a very important part of structuring your video and what you should include in your video, you have 7 seconds to capture somebody's attention when you start that video.
Right.
So the first thing you should say, keeping in mind that 2 to 3 minute, time length that they're going to be looking down in that corner for, in the first 7 seconds, you should say what your video is about. Hi, my name is Cheryl Samet. I'm going to teach you in this video how to write an effective blog post, or whatever the subject is,
Right.
and then go into the content. Because if somebody just hears, oh, hey, I'm Cheryl Samet, and I'm here, and this is my brown wall, and here's my hair, and I'm just going on about random stuff, they're going to click off the video, and I'm not going to get that view, and they're not going to hear my content. But if I say, this is what I'm going to teach you in this video, and then go right into it, they're hooked. They're hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 seconds, in the first 7 seconds, say what you're going to tell them about, and then give them your content, and then at the end of your content say something like, I know that watching this video your perspective has changed on this subject. If you'd like to learn more, connect with me on Facebook. Click on my link to read my longer article about this, or click the next video to see it in the series, and then thank them for viewing. It's just a very simple video structure that I work to follow in every video that I do. It takes practice, I'll say, and especially to fit that in that 2 to 3 minute time period. So I would just definitely encourage our viewers tonight, and those who are catching this replay, to really work on the structure of your videos, hooking them, keeping it to your content, keep it on topic, thanking them for viewing, having some way to connect with you later, and keeping it short, 2 to 3 minutes.
Man, you're tough. You're tough, Cheryl. I have a single-digit time limit. I'll watch a video if a video is 7 or 8 minutes. Like you said, once it gets past 10 minutes plus, I'm like, oh boy, do I really want to invest the time in this?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But 2 to 3 minutes, whew, you're tough.
Then you can make a series.
Thing, yeah.
You can break up your content and make a series of 2 to 3 minute videos.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Hey, shall I throw in a tip about that, about why it's important to get going in the beginning? This is something that I learned on a course that I know we've all taken, and it blows my mind how Google and YouTube does this. But when you are doing a video, do you know that you can put keywords in the video? And I think for the first 7 or 8, 9 seconds of the actual video, if you speak your keywords, then YouTube or Google will they'll transcribe the first several seconds of the video, and they will actually use those to help you in your search. If you're searching, you're blogging about hair or brown walls, like the color brown or something. You start talking right in the first few seconds. Hi, this is Cheryl. I'm talking about the color brown today because it's my favorite wall color. Maybe you're an artist or something, or you are. And that Google will actually pick those words up and put them as key phrases, keywords. Yep. Amazing how they do that, huh?
Yeah, it's a good tip. That's an important tip. And your keywords obviously should be in your title too. And guys, this is true for a blog or a video. You want your keywords in your title. You want them in the first few sentences of your blog. You want them in the first few sentences of your video, like Simon just said. That's really important. And Simon, I was actually going to throw this question at you before you threw out that little tidbit. Let's say, we're talking about marketing with blogs, marketing with videos. Let's say somebody wants to do both of those things. Is there a way to make a blog and a YouTube channel work together?
You mean as far as making them point to each other? Is that where we're
Exactly. Like work together to promote each other, cross-promote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. It's one of these things that we kind of take for granted now because it's just second nature to us. We've been doing this a while. So here's what we do. Imagine over here you have your YouTube video, and over here you have the blog. Now the blog can actually point to the YouTube video, and the YouTube video can point to the blog. What that does is that in the search engines, that's called a backlink, And when you point that in there, it gives it more relevance, and it actually boosts your ranking in the search engines just because you have something pointed to something else. Now here's a tip for you. Your video could be you talking about your blog. It could be the same sort of content. You could just read your blog, not word for word, but you can do the essence of it. And then you can also create the blog, which is based off of the video. Or you could even pay someone $5 to transcribe your video that you just shot, which took 2 minutes. Pay them $5 to transcribe your video, and that can become your blog. And now you've done a 2-for-1.
Right.
You've got twice as much content out there. It's the same content, cost you $5, and now you've got double the links pointing back to each other. So, yeah, that's one of the things that we do it automatically now. We don't think too much of it, but yeah, good question.
Or maybe just even insert the video right into a blog post, right? You can do that too.
Well, that too, yes.
Talk about, so Simon, you call yourself the lazy ninja. That's the lazy way to do it.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
Here's another. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Jorge, I have a question for you too. Tell us a little bit about calls to action. At the end of a blog, at the end of a video, I always see and hear about these calls to action. Tell us a little bit more about what a call to action is and why you want to include that in every blog post and every video.
One of the reasons is that you want, yeah, you can put all the content in the blog or the video blog, but tell the people what you want them to do. You're not going to be nice and just put out the information. Yeah, that's great, but hey, what if you as a business person, for example, you're promoting the product. Hey, this product is this and this and that. Okay, but what do you want them to do? Tell them to take action and hey, go here to my website and buy it. Go here, go there. Tell them to do something because at the end of the day, you're in a business. You're in a business. You need these things. I wanted to point out something that Simon said that you guys mentioned about the laziness, and it is true. We want to, more than lazy, we want to be very productive. And I was thinking that with all these social media things coming out, everybody knows Facebook, everybody knows Twitter, everybody knows LinkedIn, everybody knows Pinterest. With a blog, you can put the same information basically in all four of these social media sites. So instead of doing one for each, you just have one together, and then you simply link them to everybody else. So that's being productive in your promotion of your business or whatever you want to do.
Right. Well, there's, I think there's a difference between. I think Simon and I use the word lazy like in a very loose way. I think.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is working smarter, not harder.
Working smarter, being productive. Exactly.
Being more effective, more efficient with our time.
Exactly. Yeah. I had the same notion. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So lazy basically just means let's do things smarter. Let's figure out the direct path, right? Straight line to do what we want to do.
It's a good lazy.
So look, we can do another hangout later about how to syndicate, right? Using social media,
yes.
We can talk about how to syndicate your blog or your video so it does get more traffic, does get better ranked on Google and the other search engines. We can definitely, somebody write that down for a future hangout. We can definitely do that. But guys, in the end, really, I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in there. I know we've got to wrap this up in a couple minutes. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in there. When I create a blog post, when I create a video, I always have in my head that whole why, how, what philosophy, right? Like, why do you want to know what it is that I'm telling you? Why do you want to buy what it is that I'm presenting to you? How is it going to help you? How is it going to benefit you, right? And then what is it? What is it? Because that philosophy of why, how, what has sold more things to more people than probably any other strategy. Because there's a psychology behind it, there's a philosophy behind it, and it's effective. So my 2 cents, my tip when you're forming a blog post, when you're forming a video, would be why, how, and what. Get to the what last, because if you start with the what and they don't understand how it's going to benefit them, they're gone.
You're lost. Mm-hmm.
But if you explain to them why they need it, how it's going to help them, and then, oh, by the way, here's what it is, they're going to stick around to the end and they're going to hear more about what it is you're talking about. So when it comes to structuring videos or blogs, that's the approach that I kind of always try to take in my head as I'm composing this stuff. So I'd recommend it for you too. So guys, we're getting close to wrapping it up. We like to keep these to 30 minutes. I'll throw it back out to each one of you individually. Cheryl, any parting thoughts? Any other tidbits you want to add to anything anybody said before we get off this hangout tonight?
I'm going to throw out a challenge to our viewers tonight watching this video. Thank y'all for being there. But with Dr. Steve's why, how, what strategy, start noticing any advertisements, any commercials, any sort of sales messages that you hear, even on the radio, even on TV.
Exactly.
Listen for that why, how, and what.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that and start incorporating that why, how, what into your messages, into your content, and see what kind of differences that makes.
Yep. Simon, any parting words for us?
Well, since we're on the subject of why, how, what, if you've been involved in network marketing, which I know a lot of people on this call probably have, that when you see a bad invite, it's usually, hey, we got this great product, and it'll do this for you, and this is why you need to join. Like, excuse me, it's like, you lost me at what this is. I don't care what it is. So I've already tuned out.
Right.
So, and if you've seen someone invite really well or pique someone's interest, you talk about the why, and then you get drawn in like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and then you don't care what it is because you've already been sold on the why. So why, how, what? I mean, you can incorporate that into your blogs as well. I mean, start telling the story. Why, how, what?
Yeah, and it's true. That's a great point. Sometimes they are sold. Sometimes they are prepared to buy whatever it is, even though they don't know what it is, because you've told them why they need it. Now it's going to help them.
Right. Exactly.
Basically, you're being clear with them. You're being clear, and that's what they need. I mean, be very open, be very honest. I mean, if you want a long business relationship, you have to be that way.
Yep. Yep. So, guys, we're at about 30 minutes, so we're going to wrap up this hangout. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. We do these every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, we try to provide a little content, a little training, little tidbits and tips and tricks and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about blogging tonight also. So, if you're not really sure where the best place to get started blogging is, how to start a blog even, follow up with the person that invited you here tonight, because they're all experts in blogging. They know what to do and how to do it, so they'll learn a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish. They'll make some recommendations for you, but they can definitely point you in the right direction. So follow up with the person that invited you to this hangout tonight to learn a little bit more about, well, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more about blogging to market my business, or shooting videos, or both to market my business, and they'll give you more information. Otherwise, guys, this is Dr. Steve. On behalf of Cheryl, Jorge, and Simon, bidding you good night. Thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully we see you next Tuesday night. We'll see you.
See you next week.
See y'all.
Bye.